episode. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Nameless Badger's Adventures in Space. For my 15 subscribers, 11 of which are my immediate family and children. No, I'm just kidding. 9 of which are my immediate family, not my children. I just want to say I will be live streaming again here in a few months once I get my studio set up. I currently am not set up for live streaming, so I've just been making videos. Alright, that being said, let's see if we can get any of these missions to work. One of my greatest fears is that I'm going to be chatting away to the video making here, and that all my musings are going to be broadcast to the entire verse. How embarrassing would that be? It would be very embarrassing. Alright, anyway, here we go. So today's going to be a little bit different. If you've made it past the first minute and a half, I want to talk about something I've been seeing going on in the veteran community for a long time now. It's really concerning to me. I think the veteran community has been so divided the last few years. It's kind of been eating itself alive. There seems to be this kind of life cycle of the veteran influencer, I like to call it, where they start out their channels and they're all about like getting the information out to veterans and, you know, helping each other out, working with the veteran community and taking care of each other. And then as time goes on, they build up a following, and I don't know if it's because of the following that they change, or the following changes them, or they change and then the following follows along with their change. But it kind of goes from this happy-go-lucky, we're all in this together, kind of working together to get the information out there, take care of all veterans, to, oh, but this one veteran's a piece of shit, and we're going to all just tear him down. This other veteran's a piece of shit, we're all going to tear him down. Or, well, you didn't serve where I served, so your time doesn't count. And oh, your politics are different than my politics, so you're a fucking traitor. That's the biggest one. You don't agree with me on who I voted for, so you're just a traitor, and blah, 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 blah. And while they're doing this, while the veterans are at each other's throats, tearing each other down, eating each other from the inside, fighting over donkeys and elephants, the people at the top, politics, congressmen, the representatives, the Republicans, the Democrats, all of them, they are finding ways to reduce our benefits. And it's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Never before has the veteran community been as divided as it is now. And because of that division, we have things like the VA home loan changing for people that are less than 70% disabled. It's now they're trying to make it to where if you're less than 70% disabled, you're going to have to pay fees on your VA home loan if you use it more than once or something. It's confusing to me, like the verbiage, but it doesn't matter. It's a reduction in benefits for the first time in my memory that I can remember ever hearing of. Veterans are going to have a benefit reduced. And why is this a big deal, you ask? Well, first of all, let's talk about why they're going to do this. We have some severely wounded veterans that could use extra money every month. That is fine. I say for sure, let's do it. Let's get them that extra money. That isn't the question. The question is, where does that money come from? And we're being told that the only way we can fund this is by taking that money from other veterans, by building new fees into the VA home loan guarantee. And let's not mince words here. We send a lot of money overseas. We send a lot of money to Afghanistan. A lot of aid dollars goes to Afghanistan, where a good chunk of veterans got their disabilities from. I mean, not for nothing, but I think that if you're having trouble finding money to fund a veterans program, you take the money that you're sending to the country that freaking we fought the war in, and you put that towards the veterans. You know, it's just my opinion. I don't know. I love the Afghan people. I think that the pullout of Afghanistan was a fucking nightmare. I think that surrendering to the Taliban was a bullshit move. Uh, you know, I'm not going to get into the Biden did this or Trump did that bullshit because they're all culpable. All of them. I'm not going to get into the war was never going to end. We'd been there for so long. The corruption of the Afghan people. All of that played a part. It did. I'm going to say that from my experience over there, the Afghans that I fought alongside of, the 203rd Kandak, I was an embedded training team member. I mentored them. There was 16 of us Americans living on a FOB with 500 Afghans. And we weren't special forces or anything like that, but we were on an embedded training team mission for Task Force Phoenix. And that's what we did. We went on missions with the Afghans. We lived with the Afghans. We ate with the Afghans. They provided security for us at night. You know, when we went on missions, and it was one Humvee and a column of Afghan Ford Rangers. That's how it was. So my experience there was vastly different than others. And the ones that I fought with were Mujahideen. They were from the Northern Alliance. They hated the Taliban. So that was my experience. So don't get me wrong. A tangent. I'm sorry. The idea that the only way to fund this bill is to take money from veterans and give it to other veterans is ludicrous. The bill needs to be passed. But I watched the vote, and the vote went along party lines. The left wanted to find the money other places. They asked to take it from some of the spending for ICE. The right voted it down. They asked to pause the final rule and set up a committee to find the money somewhere else. The right voted it down. They said, let's get this money from these other places. They had like 6 different options. The right refuses to work with the left. And I'm not going to say that the left refuses to work with the right, because it does. They both refuse to work with each other, and it's bullshit. But in the past, historically speaking, veterans worked together across party lines to take care of veterans. And for the first time in history that I know of, that's not happening now. Party politics is more important than veterans taking care of veterans. So you have some veterans voting to have veterans fund their own benefits, basically. And you have other veterans voting to, like, find the money other places, and they can't work together. It's absolutely shameful. Any veteran that voted to make another veteran pay for a different veteran's benefit has lost the sight of what it means to be a veteran. We take care of each other because no one else is going to take care of us. The country is all about taking care of the veterans when we first come home. But as it gets expensive, we start hearing about how our benefits are too generous. You know, it's free money. We need to do more, blah, 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 blah. All these things that civilians say to us. And the fact of the matter is, the recruiting office is there. Anybody that thinks it's easy money, go and get you some. Sign right up. We got to work together, man. We got to stop fighting over donkeys and elephants. We got to vote out of office people that refuse to work with the other side to take care of their own. We got to take care of each other because no one's going to take care of us. No one else is going to take care of the veterans' needs but other veterans. Historically, we've always been able to cross the aisle to take care of veterans. And the problem is it's a slippery slope. Congress, every so often, especially after a war, wants to reduce veteran benefits. They get expensive for a while. They've always these pushes to reduce the benefits that veterans get. And once we start allowing it in whatever form, where does it stop? Today it's adding fees into this. Tomorrow, what's it going to be? You know, this push to privatize the VA. The VA has its problems, but it is one of the best medical networks in the country. I don't know about the world because I don't know what other countries' medical networks are like, but I know in this country, the VA medical centers are some of the best.
All channels, I'm under attack. Please, if you hear this, help me.
Best medical centers, best medical networks in the country. You know, we are privileged to have those, and if we start privatizing it, then the private companies aren't in it to take care of the veterans. They're in it to make money.
Stop.
They're in it to make money. And once they start privatizing our health care, it's going to start costing us. It's going to come out of our pockets, and we're going to end up paying for it.
Target destroyed.
It's a slippery slope, you know. And it has happened in the past. After World War I, during the Great Depression, veterans' benefits were cut off. There was no money for them. The veterans got together and had a huge march to the National Mall. They deployed the troops against veterans because the veterans wanted their basic benefits. All of our benefits have been fought for and earned by veterans that came before us. And they were hard won. Every one of them was hard won.
Target destroyed.
And we should never let one go for any reason. We got to come together. We got to have a get together with Jesus moment, or us veterans are going to not have anything to fight for. We got to take care of each other. Because if we don't take care of each other, the non-veterans are going to take everything that we were handed by our forefathers away from us. That's the real scary thing. Got to stop fighting over donkeys. Got to stop fighting over elephants. Got to start fighting for each other.
Shields hit.
That's my 2 cents on the whole veteran thing.
Target
That's
destroyed.
all we were done for.
Glad you were available to
You know,
help. Don't know what we would have done without
this
you.
tearing each other down's got to stop. Look, before it even starts, I know someone, if this ever gets out and, you know, becomes a thing, people are going to talk about what a piece of shit I was in my service and how I don't deserve anything. So let's just get the air cleared right now. Yeah, pre 9/11, I went AWOL. In fact, on the morning of 9/11, I had just returned from being AWOL. While the planes were hitting the towers, I was in deep shit with my command. I was going through a tough time with my marriage. My wife had just took off with my kids. I was in a bunch of trouble with the unit. And so I ran off to Las Vegas for 30 days and partied like there was no tomorrow. And then I turned myself in. I came back. I took my punishment. I got out of the military. I got my shit together. And I went back in and served with honor. And then after my time in Afghanistan and Iraq, I had some trouble readjusting. I got into some fights downtown. I was drinking too much. I got in trouble with the law. I spent the whole year in the VA and getting my shit together. saved my life. I'm grateful for those programs. I'm grateful for the doctors. And I'm grateful for the Vietnam vets that were sitting in there with me and the Korean War vets that showed me how to be a better veteran brother to my veterans. You know, whether I like every veteran out there, whether I believe every story every veteran tells, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I take care of my veteran brothers, and I haven't always. I have been a shitty veteran friend. I have let my fucking brothers in arms down, my veteran friends down. But I learned from my mistakes, and I got better. And now I'm watching all this shit happen. I'm watching veterans tear each other down. You know, they get in each other's comments. They talk about, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, man, veterans need to look out for each other. Because if they're not looking out for each other, I keep saying it, if you don't, it's what they taught me. The Vietnam vets knew it. If we don't look out for each other, no one's going to look out for us. You know. They found out the hard way, and they're still fighting for their benefits to this day. They haven't given up. No new benefits are going to come down the pipe as long as we're so divided. In fact, the only thing that's going to happen is we're going to start losing benefits. And all these politicians point to all these things they're doing to help us. At the end of the day, in my state, the politicians let 2 veterans homes for veterans that are homeless or, you know, need long-term care but want to be semi-autonomous. Some assisted living facilities that were state-run, they let them close down. They refused to fund them. You know, it's heartbreaking. That's my warning to the veteran community. Stop eating yourself alive. Stop tearing each other down. Some people had it worse than others. Some people saw more combat than others. All served. All gave something. All gave some gave all. That's the motto. Moving on to the stolen valor thing. Look, there's this guy, this Malibu Max guy. Everybody's jumping on him, piling on him. You know, the guy stole some valor. He said he did this. He said he did that. Then he came out and said, I didn't do it. I lied. You know, good on him. He stood up. He accepted the fact that he had made a mistake. And, you know, is he still a chud? Of course. Have I ever met a soldier that didn't fucking embellish their story somehow, some way? Never. Every war story I heard, I just assume that it's at least 15% bullshit. You know? The real problem I have with this whole situation is that, one, someone gave up that man's medical records, which is a fucking crime. Someone who had access to that man's medical records knowingly handed him over. It's a federal crime.
Shields offline.
And number 2, these people have been putting that shit on the internet. Like, that is concerning. Now, I started my career in the infantry, and after Afghanistan, I decided I wanted to become a medic. And I became a medic, and my time in Iraq was spent as a medic.
Is now off.
But I tell you this, sharing someone's medical records is a fucking bullshit move. Posting them on the fucking internet, that's just garbage at the end of the day. I mean, shame on the fucking creators that are posting that man's medical records. You want to bust someone out for fucking stolen valor? Go ahead. Like, I'm all for it. You got his DD-214 up there, this, that, and the other. Even if you had access to his medical records and you read them, that's fine. You know, I can't stop you from sharing that information. I can't stop you from whatever you're going to do with that information. No one can. But to fucking hold it up to the camera, absolutely unconscionable. And that's a veteran too. That's another veteran. Like, this, you know, I get it. Stolen valor is a fucking touchy subject. It's shitty.
Bogey. Lock.
But we gotta do better, man. We gotta do better as a community. We gotta
Mayday, mayday! Outlaws are attacking my ship!
we gotta do better.
Target destroyed.
If we don't do better, there's not gonna be anything left to do. You know? Again, if anybody wants to get my comments, talk about what a piece of shit I am, or how I don't deserve this or deserve that, my DD-214's public records. I say, you know what? Fill out your Freedom of Information request. I'm not gonna do it for you. I got nothing to hide. It's all public information. My medical records are my private, though. I'd for sure be trying to find out who gave up my medical records. Make sure they lost whatever job they had to have access to the medical records in the first place. God damn it. I gotta focus up or I'm gonna end up dead. I got the friendly fire going on.
Target destroyed.
Come on. Ah, too close. Ah. If you know a veteran that's struggling, reach out. Talk to him. If you are a veteran that's struggling, get in my comments, man. Let's chat.
Shields hit.
I'm heading out.
Target destroyed.
It may take me a little while to get back to you, but I'll get back to you. I'm not pushing any courses. I'm not going to help you get your VA disability. I don't do any of that. I'm not monetizing my account. I'm just here to talk about the shit that I see going on and how it makes me feel. Breaks my fucking heart, and I want veterans to do better. You know, stop tearing each other down. Try and lift each other up. You know. I had all my friends freaking walk away from me at one point because I was so deep in my bullshit. It was hard, but it was the fucking slap in the ass I needed to get my shit together, and I'm grateful that I'm alive today because of it. I've got a lot of really close veteran friends that I don't see nearly enough. Another thing I gotta throw out there is fucking, if you're one of them veterans that doom scrolls all day and lives on social media, unplug. That shit. I got rid of my fucking Facebook, Instagram, all that shit, and I have never felt better. It's been 10 years since I used that shit. 2016 is when I got rid of it. And that's when I was able to see the veteran community start eating each other from within. The longer you're away from your echo chamber, the harder it is to ignore. And that's for both sides, the left and the right. The donkeys and the elephants. We gotta do better. Just because you don't agree with the veteran on who to vote for doesn't mean they're a traitor. doesn't mean that you're better than them or they're wrong. All it means is that you disagree. And you can still be battle buddies. You can still fucking find common ground in each other. That's my 2 cents. 25 minutes is long enough. Like, subscribe, send it to a friend. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're anyone that's not my dad or my brother or my sister, you know what I'm saying? And with that, I will see you. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get the studio together. I'm going to set it up where it's just a streaming studio for when I'm playing my games. That's going to come later after the summer. Stay tuned. I will keep uploading to YouTube in the meantime. I'm going to try and upload more often, do some different things. Thank you, and see you in the next one.